this meeting. So today we are going to talk about GDAP and DAP. So I don't know if, well, I think that most of the ones that are here in this call know about this, but maybe doesn't know what's the difference between the GDAP, how will this help in security part for our partners, and maybe how can we help our partners in order to they can join to this new granular delegate admin privilege. So this is something focus on territory manager. So badly we're missing some of them, and also Boris because are the one that have this conversation with the resellers all the time. But this is something very important in the operation part too. So that's why we have Summer and Anessa here, and also in the part of support, Oscar is working with this every day, beside the part of MC3. Well, first, it's good to remember or to remind how CSP business model work. So we as distributor are tier two as our reseller, but we sell to all resellers and all resellers sell to all customers. But we buy for Microsoft directly. So we have a commitment with Microsoft for those services. Now with NCE, for example, that we have closed windows of 7 days. If we have an annuity and we don't close that annuity or cancel in those 7 days, MC3 have to pay Microsoft for all that annuity of the year because Microsoft make the invoice for us. And we make an invoice for reseller and the reseller for the customer. But what's the problem here? That is a change. If for some reason the reseller stop doing something, we have that commitment with Microsoft. So that's why the DST is the most vulnerable and important part of this. With that, in GDAP, we send the link, the relationship link. I don't know if you remember. I will show you how you can find this, how this will work. In the DAP, that is the legacy way, as Microsoft said now to for do this, we can make one relationship link for a new customer that is already using Microsoft 365. It means that they have a tenant, right? So as they have a tenant and they have their services, they need to approve that we have privilege to make some movement and to admin their services. So the end customer need to accept this. This is a semi-custom link because it depends direct of which is the reseller. For every reseller, there is a different relationship link, but this link doesn't expire, and this link is available every time you want the reseller want to send this to the customer. Good, but the granular one is the new way to make the delegate admin privilege and is more secured because we can separate different kinds, a lot of different privilege or different mm, different way to we can admin these services, right? First, difference between that and GDAP. What's the difference? What we have now, what we are already using. First, with DAP, we have global admin and help desk admin. So which means kingdom keys. When one customer accept that link that I mentioned with that, they're giving us the power to make everything in that account. But what's the problem with that? That if for some reason the DC or the reseller have a hack attack and get hacked or something, this malicious part that come to the reseller or the district can have access to those services or those subscription and can make bad things with that. So that's why Microsoft is trying to delimit those privilege, and as it's supposed to be done since the first, that the district just have the access that we need to have, and the partner just have the access they need to have. So it means that we won't have that vulnerability anymore. So the relationship link is a timeline unlimited. As I mentioned, we have different relationship link that depends on the reseller. Every reseller have a different one, but that doesn't expire. If I have that relationship link since 2019, for example, I can keep sending this relationship link to every customer and they can accept that. I will show you something about the relationship link that is good to know in next slide. Well, as I mentioned, it's a send me custom invitation relationship link. Well, the relationship time up. It's good to mention that when they accept that, we have access to those privilege for all the time. So until the end customer don't cut that privilege for us and cancel it, we will still having those privilege around the time. In GDAP, the things going to change. And also in that, we cannot have security group. So we don't need it because everybody have all the permissions and not workload limitation and not either have access to PIM. PIM is the privileged identity management that yes, we have in GDAP, and I will mention this in next slides. Where in GDAP, what we have different here, we have a level of access. So the access will be custom and will depend of the permission given by the end customer. So I will show you how can we help our partner to begin migrating to GDAP and how they can create this new relationship link that is just for one use that expires when the end customer accept and you need to create it again because every new link is personalized. It's a new link that have just the permissions or the privilege that you are asking the partner to give you. So maybe with all the partner, you will not, with all the end customer, you will not need the same kind of privilege. Maybe you need some access privilege in one and in another one, no. So you can change that, you can custom that, and you will have that different level of access. So the relationship timeline, that's too good to and important to understand this. In that, our relationship with the partner do never expire. So, and in the end customer. So, if for some reason at 2 years before we make a subscription to this customer, he say, "Hey, Mr. Reseller, I need 3 subscription more," and the reseller come to us or to a platform, "Hey, MC3, I'm gonna give this 3 new subscription." We can add those subscription without problem. But with GDAP, we have a timeline where we will have those privilege or access for this end customer. And that we can configure this when we are creating that relationship, when we are creating the gap. I will show you the GDAP. I will show you how your partners can make it. If for some reason they need any assist, at least we have this base knowledge. How can we help them? So for default, we have 730 days. It means 2 years and cannot be more than 2 years. So if we have a new customer with GDAP now, we will have two relationship for 2 years if they don't code it. But after those 2 years, we need to make a new link and they need to give us access again. This is something to take care because we can't manage their tenant. So we cannot add services if we don't have those privilege on. It's good to remember that. Okay, well, security group, we can assign different security group that can be handled partner center, giving different privilege to different group of person. For example, a different privilege for technical guys and another one for sales guys. This can be done with GDAP. And also we have a workload limit. We can segment those group with a workload and give, okay, you cannot have more workload than this for security team, for example, or for technical team, or you cannot have more than this for sales. So you can separate that. Also, you can have access to the privileged identity manager with just in time and just a node access. This is another security level that you can give, for example, for some security group that need to make a different work that they doesn't normally use. You can have a limit time of privilege for that group. That is just in time. So you can have this group with a 24 day with those privileges just to make this. And after that, you will not have those privilege. What for what is this? For example, if one of those credentials are hacked, they have not access for that. Yeah, they have just a time when they can have that access and make those things. Those That's another level of security that we can access with GDAP. Okay, here there is a video that explains very well the part of vulnerability that I was mentioned because we have all the access, and also I be that it's good to include here for you to understand how this can fall down if we have all the DAP and we don't have granular delegate admin privilege. Please let me know if you can listen this because sometimes I have problem with things that people cannot listen the video. So if you cannot listen, I will give you a link here where you can see it and double check it if it's needed. Can you listen it?
I'm not hearing it.
Okay, okay. So I will
Hearing.
share. No herring. Okay. I will share you this video in the call. So at the end, you can see and you can see how maybe if we get attacked and we have that, how vulnerability, which are the all the part of vulnerability that the end customer can have. So that's why Microsoft is changing to do that. Okay. So okay, that's good. That's that. That's GDAP. Okay, blah, blah, blah. How can I work with this? What's the way to work with this? If you don't know, maybe you are doing this all the time, but you don't know what are you doing. When we send this link, this relationship link, we are asking for delegate admin privilege to our end customer. How we know that? Because here in this part, they said DAP is equal to true. So, for example, here in Admin Center, how can I do this if for some reason one of our territory manager doesn't know how to make this or some reseller need to know how they can find this? First, you go to Partner Center. Good. In Partner Center, you go to Customer. And in Customer, this is our way, in this way, right? We go to Indirect Reseller, and you find here the research that you want. Also, you can make it with the search bar. For example, for IT expert group, they asking me, they have a new customer and they want to send 100 Microsoft 365 business standard, for example. But this end customer already have a tenant because they have buy their licenses on Microsoft. So they need to give us those privilege for us to can add them those services. So you give here and invite new customer. And here the system will give you a link. This is the relationship link that the end customer need to accept. Sometimes our reseller doesn't know how to do this, so we do this for them. What do I like to do this for them? Also, they have to do this, but what do I like to do this for them? Because when they are doing this in their partner center, as we see here, the partner, IT expert group, they see the DST. And for default, they have here the first DC that they accept the relationship link. And for sometimes have been happened to me that I say a partner, okay, you know how to find this link? Because they miss all the time. Yes, I know. Okay, go ahead, find the link and send it to the customer. And they told me, yes, the customer accept. And I don't see the customer in my partner center. What happened? They choose, they don't choose. It put a default. They don't read. They search this and they send the the Incomex invitation link. And now the partner, the Incomex have the DAP of this partner. Believe that. So that's a problem. That's a huge problem. They should know this and they should make this. But sometimes I send this link for them just to get sure and avoid those kind of problems. It's good to remind that if you take out this check here, the link will change. And now it said that post. It means that we are sending the relationship link without the DAP. If for some reason some customer can't accept this link because by their policy they cannot accept the delegate admin privilege, you can change this here. This is something that have been happened for me in the past. So you change this. We will not have all those privileges, but we can have the granular privilege. So and we will have this relationship with them. So this is a first way maybe to begin having this relationship. Okay, so that's how we make the DAP. That's how we are doing this around those times. Good. Let's continue. But how will our partners will add GDAP? They told me, okay, I understand the vulnerability. I want to stop migrating my customer. What can I do? How does this work? Okay, I will show you again in Partner Center for you to help maybe your reseller. How can they make this? First, let's go to the first page. They go to customer, and in customer, there is this new part that is admin. They need to go to admin, and in admin is the way where you can give the GDAP. This is in Spanish, but it's granular permissions, right? Delegate admin permissions. So here you said, let's ask for a relationship. I want a relationship link. When they go here, they need to create the name of this new relationship. As I mentioned, it's just one link for one use for one partner. So they will need to make this if they want to set this link for all the customer. But also Microsoft have a tool that I will mention that you can make this by a book if they need that. So for example, you do that. Look at this duration in days. We can receive permission for this customer that is something that we need to take care until for 1 day. So it means that we won't have permissions to do nothing in their subscription, their tenant. So it's good to get sure that we have those permissions, at least that the partner put the top that is 730. That's the top, that is 2 years. So it's good there to
Is
put.
there an alert? Sorry, Mario. Is there an alert, for example, for us, if they gave us like, I don't know, 10 days, do we receive an alert that the 10 days are passed and that we lost delegated admin?
When we lost the admin, we receive an mail that said that we have lost the privilege. So when we receive that mail, it means that we need to contact the reseller and have this conversation with the end customer. Say, okay, Mr. Customer, we have no these permissions more, so we need to add it again and give more days.
Okay.
Okay, and also we can select here, as you see, for example, for Azure rows, look all the things granular that we can select different services. So we can have just the exact privilege that we need. So it's good. Microsoft has in their page suggest a kind of permissions that is needed by the dist and the reseller. So the reseller can see this just for us for the suggest, as Microsoft said, permissions that maybe you need. So it's good to know that now you can divide. Before with that, it's good to know that we have all those privileges, but now we are going to divide those privileges. Good. So you said you select the privilege and said finalize. When it finalized, you will receive a new link. And that's all. That link you send to the customer. Yeah.
Is there any way to create template like you can do, for example, in you know in AD or things like that? Can you create templates, default templates to disseminate to the resellers? Like you need to dash this and this and this and this, and this is a specific, let's say, profile type that you can use every time.
Yes, it can be done. Also, I can send them which are the one that as Microsoft mentioned, that best practice to select. And also, Microsoft has an tool that you can, for example, for some parameters, you tell them, yes, you are going to select just this one for all your customer, and you can room this tool, and this tool will give you all the relationship that you have in that to send
Okay.
this new link to all the customers just to migrate them by a book. So
Okay.
that's also good, and it's good to mention, and I have that in another slide, that this tool will be available just until October. So Microsoft opened this until October. It maybe they can give a few more days, but so far now they said it's just until October, and it's a free. I don't know if in October they will make up this by payment, or if we will need to look at another migration tool.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Thanks.
Good. Okay. So as I mentioned, you have here, that's the one that we see on Partner Center. Good to mention this. It's good to remind that Azure Role-Based Access Control is different than GDAP. GDAP is no RBAC, right? So remember that RBAC is made in Azure. It's too easy. It's just to get Azure resource. It's a few pass, a few steps that you need to have the access role-based access control RBAC. And also, Adriana knows a lot of this. If you need any help, just ask Adriana, that she knows a lot of this. And with the RBAC, remember that if all reseller have the RBAC of a customer, they will receive the invoice of the service with a discount. So the prices that they will have for the service is different. That's why it's really important that all partner, when our partner have a customer with some Azure stuff, they have the RBAC rules. So it's good to know that when you go to GDAP, it's something different. And if you got this granular difference of permission, you don't lose the ASUS role-based access control, because that could be a problem, because that affects directly the commercial part, because it means that the prices are different. It's not affected by GDAP. It's good to know that, because sometimes partner can mix this. These are different things. GDAP will not make that they receive different prices on their Azure services. And also, we have a migration tool. As I mentioned, the Microsoft has a migration tool. We have the link here. I will let this link and the another one for the video in this call, so you can double check this. This is learn of Microsoft page when show you how you can use this bold migration tool. Also give you the link to download this migration tool. When you run this tool in this side, you will see that it will give you a download eligible customer list. So it will check in your partner center all the customer you have this relationship in that, for example, all the partner that you can send the GDAP, and also you can give it the parameters, right? So you can order, you can begin to migrate them all them as a bulk. If that's part of the reseller and the reseller way, if they need any help with that, maybe yes, you can ask us. I can assist them in this. Also, Oscar is working on this on our side, working in our side, migrating to GDAP or relationship. So Oscar know how this works. So this is the best way to move all their relationships to GDAP. So it's good just to know that, to have this knowledge. If the partner asks or something, you can give them this link and they begin to work with this. So that's also all that we have so far for GDAP. Also, it's good to remember that DAP is still available. Delegate admin privilege, the one that we have, is still available on Microsoft. We doesn't have so far a date to expire. For some reason, they say, okay, everybody needs to be in GDAP until this date or something. No, Microsoft have no announced nothing of this. It's just good to mention this. So, questions? Someone would like to ask
Well,
something?
I'll interact a little. Team, what Mayo presented is very, very critical and important. The reason of my push on this particular topic is for you, so some of you know or not, that, for example, we had a hack of 250K in Indian Ocean based on the fact that a reseller hadn't set proper security rules in an Azure plan. So we cannot afford, as you can imagine, such a hack. It was not the only hack, to be truth. There was one of 250, but I don't mention one of 20, one of 30, and one of 15, which is you imagine the global impact. We are over 300K of consumption that Microsoft so far doesn't want to credit us. So it is super critical that we bring properly the message to our reseller channel that they are 100% at risk if they don't apply not only MFA, but GDAP, because GDAP is another requirement soon from Microsoft. I am 100% sure that to have credit on something that has been, hacked, they will ask if you had put proper GDAP in place. And even if it's not yet mandatory, I mean, let's make it mandatory.
That will be mandatory.
Yeah, that will be. I know that will be, but let's not wait for Microsoft to do things. Let's be the good kids in the room because we have all advantages to do it the quickest possible. I know Microsoft has been loudy and silent. I mean, loudy talking about it, but silent about providing guidance, about providing documentation, how to this webinar should have been done by Microsoft from my point of view. But I forced a little the wheel with Mayo, so we don't wait for Microsoft. Basically, this is something we're planning with Oscar and myself since November. I was asking for.
Microsoft have canceled me like 4 times for this. I don't know what was the problem of that. I don't know what's the problem. Maybe I don't know.
No, but my idea there is, you know what? Let's not wait on Microsoft because they will always have good reasons, and then we will be the last kid in the room to play properly. We have the benefit of having some information, very important and relevant information to provide to the channel, even if we don't have all the exact details on the how-to on certain questions that will arise. Of course, we must communicate to the channel. Worst case, it will bring good questions for us to go Microsoft and to provide better guidance to everyone. And hopefully we will be one of the distillery who applies this kind of things sooner than others. I am also very interested and intrigued, Mayo, by the aspect of GDAP concerning, that we can lose, as you said, some rebates, some things like that, if we are not active in subscription. And of course, that means that we must have sufficient rights at some point of time, at some specific, I suppose there's some trigger that we mustn't lose, because if we lose, then we for sure lose this part of the thing. And reseller will obviously not understand to be invoiced at the street price instead of the price discounted. So it is very important technically as a security matter, but it is also commercially a very impactful decision that we must make and find proper settings. It will also, I think, if not erase, at least reassure all the end customers like governments, like financial institutions and so on, that were freaking worried, and I can understand it, that a distributor or a reseller could have access to their data, because I mean, me as a global admin, believe it or not, I can enter in any of the subscription of any reseller. I can delete an account, I can do whatever, and I can understand this is a concern to some. So I think it is really a topic to be concerned with highest priority possible. And thank you, Mayo, for making this today happening. Because it is important. I haven't yet, I think it's the 28th that we have the communication, the same type of communication to reseller channel, correct?
Yeah. We have this for the 28th of this month, Friday 28th.
So
it will be a little bit different than this one. Will be a little bit different than this one, because I would not show them our partner center, but I want to just show them how to make this, how they can make this, how they can begin working with GDAP, because this is healthy for the business. Because if for some reason some of us get hacked, we'll have a lot of problems.
And just to give you an idea, Indian Ocean MC3 Cloud is 99% sure will soon make different pricing to resellers depending on the fact that they apply or not those kind of features. So they will say, if you didn't apply, we don't take responsibility, or we charge you 15% more because we don't want to take the risk. So this is something we must consider because
Yes.
I mean it's not much for the reseller to do. For the customer, is more secure, and for us, it's way more secure, and it allows us to not waste money and time. So
Totally.
okay.
Just to,
Yes, Oscar.
sorry to cut you short. Just to make something clear, as Mayabanex explained, what you're talking about in terms of incentives, in terms of Azure pricing, that relates to RBAC or
Yes.
role-based access.
That's the no
Role-based
effect.
access
Yes.
is different from GDAP.
Okay.
So
Okay then.
so just to focus the conversation on those 2 points, because that's actually it's a very good idea what you just said. We have to let the market know about this, but it's 2 different conversations.
Okay.
So I would suggest that maybe if since we're doing GDAP, we're having the GDAP conversation, which is more a security thing,
Yeah.
right? Then we also maybe try to do another type of webinar for the RBAC, because RBAC is a pricing thing,
Yeah.
not a security thing. It's a pricing thing.
Yeah.
So
But-
so just to have that
Very
in mind.
important. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Oscar.
Thank you, Oscar.
Yeah. Just a last point because the ladies are waiting for us on the credit one. Last thing, Oscar. I haven't understood. From my understanding, it was possible from Interworks platform to set up GDAP from a creation of tenant. Did I completely misunderstood something or what?
It will be possible because that's actually the problem. Today, Microsoft has actually, it's a question that Myovanix can help us escalate. The question that I actually have for the speaker, I thought we were going to have the presence of the Microsoft speaker here, but unfortunately not. The question here is, and the big question today is,
But we will have
how
in
is
28.
this going to work in October? Because today DAP is still available. If I create a relationship link, the relationship link has DAP. It does not have GDAP.
Yeah.
Right. So it has DAP. So how is that going to work eventually? How will Microsoft remove the DAP from the link, and then we will have to do some sort of different process to create the GDAP relationship with the customer?
Okay.
And also that we have been having problem with the help desk. So if we remove for us those
How
help
this is
desk
going to work.
privilege, for example, how will this work? How will the partner ask for this ticket or the end customer if they can't? So Microsoft is working in a lot of things that it is not clear yet. So our Oscar is asking for this. We will have an specialist on GDAP and security on Friday 28th. So all those questions we are going to throw it to him. So, well, that's all on my end. We have another call now, so it's good to move. And if anyone have any question or something, just write me on Teams. And thank you everybody for joining.
Thanks for Mayo for doing it.
Thanks, Mayo.
Thank you, Mario. Take
Okay,
care,
everyone.
team.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.